Let's go ahead and start. Been a while. How's your day, White Summer? Ended up streaming most of the day. I did some Smash, did some Pokemon. It's been good. Been a month and a half. Has it been that long? My bad. Been busy. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. You have to tell me about it. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine they won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. I wish we'd get back to the courtroom already. We won't go back there, so we gotta go to... Imagine we don't need to go to Cosmos Cam, we need to go to somewhere else. Oh? Already read this. Wonder what the downsides would be. All he did was click on cheese. I guess we gotta go to back to Kazuya's cabin. Yeah, I think this is where we had to go back. Because normally they only do that thing at the bottom if you had to go there. At least with the older Ace Attorney games. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hasanaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhara-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he's exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. Never know. Well, is he gonna constantly be in your room? I forgot how to... There we go. Oh, there he is. Wow, he looks like he's gotten beaten up. Is that a black eye and a bruised lip? Yep. Ah, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Please don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fist and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Oh, well then, while he's there, just take a break from it, I guess. Yes, so I understand. Oh, did I skip her thing? Oh well. Oh! Yeah, I bumped into a man claiming to be the great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Sherlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Hair. And that's good. Should take a break from it then, as long as your Oppa's there. That explains it. Shall we compare notes then? we can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it! What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door? Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know that graceful angel? Oh, he's dying again. Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful? If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed. Ready to hand over to Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. I wonder if they actually have the, yeah, the people. 23 years old. 16, she's 16. Wow, he's a lot older than her. Oh, well, that's Kazuya. Herlock Sholmes is 34 years old. Interesting. I like looking at their ages. Oh, wow. I'd expect Satoru Hasanaga to be older than Herlock Sholmes, but he's actually younger. 29. 37, Biff Stroganoff. She's 15. Wow. The last criminal was also apparently an angel. Yeah, that's true. There is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector. Please. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Barria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuya's post-mortem report? Kazuya-sama. He's... I thought you were going to say he's dead. I mean, he might be, you never know. So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There were no obvious wounds or other signs of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in his system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? I don't think he's dead still. We didn't see the body. Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object. Something that wouldn't leave a mark. Blunt object doesn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuya. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never had agreed to you leaving the cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. A report from the SS Bureau medical officer giving the cause of death as a cervical spine injury. There were no traces of external injury or poison. I don't know, something still seems fishy. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? It was a vertebrae. Possible he died while trying to achieve a man's eternal goal if it was a vertebrae injury. Maybe. You know, with me right in the closet next to him. Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes. One thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish? I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass. Do you see? Oh, there's shoe polish on the floor. That's what he was thinking, with me right next to him. I could totally reach it if I try. And he just did like one quick, like, cracked his neck and died. Perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Yes, that must be it. But how can Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? I have to admit. If you ever watch Game Grumps, Dan from Game Grumps has quite a story about that where he had to wear a neck cast. I really enjoyed that story, it was funny. That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuya-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? Sort of dark brownish red then? Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I have to repair them for him. Oh. Does this mean that this mark was made by the polish in Kazuya's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? Mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. A piece of small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuya's shoes were found by the victim's body. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Poor Inspector. You look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. It was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. He looks like he's dying. Yeah, it looks like he's dead. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? Resting? It's still throbbing too. Like they were knocked out with something. So we're done talking to him. Yo! Where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went next door cabin to... Why? Who gave you permission for this? Might be... I don't think it's seasickness, though. I don't think they both would have gotten it, especially since they've been at sea for so long now. Their seasickness should have passed. Well, Seaman Hasanaga did... That new Japanese, was it? Later I will roll him into a ball and throw him in a cold room. Or Hasanaga. Whew. He's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hasanaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. It's his seaman. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at Le Carnaval. That could be a very long time from now, Naruhata-san. Wrong button. Okay, is there anything left to expect? So it's clear that these letters are written in the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor. Oh, looking at the letters. And they spell the Russian word for wardrobe. It doesn't mean to be ambiguous, pointer to you, Naruhata-san, as you were sleeping in there. But to be truly ambiguous, it should have spelt out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuya-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian. Begs the question, who did write it? Really, but can't find anything out of place. Alright, so what do they want me to do? Diary, the news report. I didn't forget too much. It's been a while, but I kind of keep track of these things. They're gonna let me actually come out here? Oh, looks like I needed to walk out here, I think. Ah! Look, Nahara-san! Demon Stroganoff is gone. Strong enough? The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Ugh, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. La la la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra la la, lira lira lay. I did it the great detective way. And that you gave a high-pitched voice. Yeah. He's not there right now. This caroling. I know that lark-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy nut crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Nut. No, he's not. He's not there. At least he might be in Miss Pavlova's cabin. I wouldn't doubt it. The case is opened. Oh yeah, it was the dog. The cat. I don't remember that part. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Sato-san. Oh, where's she gone? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things. There's not a moment to waste, Nahara-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right, for Kazuya's sake. Now I want to play Kazuya again. Not just for Kazuya-sama. Oh, Staff started talking. Not just for Kazuya-sama. What do you mean? It can't be long now until we arrive at port, in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. I don't think we actually got to look at it. It might have been a pet rat. That's one thing I forgot. But we'll figure it out again. It'll come back. Really? We must solve this case, Nahara-san. By ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Yeah, she did have something small, because we saw the glint of its eyes or something like that. Here, we can check on it, and it should let us know. Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open! Completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret. Okay, so yes, we didn't get to see it. Because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the SS Burya. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? Oh, we might just find it. Narada-san, are you there? Sorry, I'm right here, yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. Knows? They both brought illegal pets onto the ship? Yeah. Probably why he got taken out. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck. All the books have toppled over together. Look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. In Kazuya's cabin. Perhaps. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company? Alright then. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. They're all back. There's a small bowl on the floor, though. I wonder what the saucer's doing on the floor. Yes, it does look like it's been dropped. It doesn't look like it's been dropped, more like it's been put there deliberately. Do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here? She tampers with all evidence. That's what she does. What? A leak? Is the ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. Leak in the boat joke, yeah. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Anything in here? I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket. Shall we have a look and see what's been thrown away? Naruhata-san. It's poor etiquette to go sifting through one's rubbish, you know? Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. However, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. There's nothing in there, we're just going through trash for nothing. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Oh, now's your chance to look. Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading books written in Russian. Thanks. I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people now, Naruhata-san. Kindly remember that. It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that Russians are very thirsty people. There we go. Or because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night. She hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. Yeah, I think she had a different... It was either a helicopter or another boat that took them to this boat out at sea. I forgot what they call that, but they drop people off in the middle of the ocean. Like that. I mean, it could be either... It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhata-san? Okay, oh, we got this thing right here. There's one of these next to the bed in Kazuya's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. Uh-oh. She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug too. Probably not, so they probably just took another boat out there to that one. Or they've been at sea for days, not the boat itself, because they made stops, and they're stopping at Hong Kong. Yep, she summoned something. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Isn't much else to inspect. Ah, yes, they're displayed in this cabin too. Look, the SS Burial rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep her contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. It's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. They're a bunch of malarkey? Yeah. Everyone, all rules are mainly broken. I just hope Seaman Stroganov doesn't find it and throw it overboard. Oh, yes, so do I. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to bolt it from the outside. Airlock jumps overboard. That would be funny if that happened. I feel bad for them. He does it once they reach Hong Kong, though, so it doesn't matter. And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me. Okay. Okay, look at that up there. So this ventilator connects to Kazuya's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Maybe it's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant in this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Humongous gas vent. Someone's venting. Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. Anyway, last night Kazuya wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. Speckled band. Alright, what else do we got? Doesn't look like there's much left. Into Jacob earlier? Yeah, I think we're kind of done inspecting. If it's right, come back out here. Guess not yet. No? No, it hasn't been. And apparently we're not supposed to move yet. There's something we're missing in Miss Pavlova's cabin. Otherwise we would have gotten that little notice. Something out of that we're missing here. Yeah, I inspected the water bowl. It's got the check mark on it. I thought I'd inspect the picture frame. And it can't converse. All I can do is examine and move. I investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of place. Part of me thinks it's the luggage, because I wasn't able to actually click the luggage. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, now neatly arranged on the shelf. Yes, it's very unthinking to dance around inside the cabins. Other than Miss Pavlova, not me. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. What could we have found in this room? Saving. The light? No, the light doesn't highlight. It would at least turn light blue if I could look at something. I thought it'd be the horn too right here, but it's not. Look at the suitcase again. It's open. Yeah, we already read this. Maybe out here, I can examine something. Ah! There we go. Because we didn't look over here, we didn't see him just standing there. Yeah. Oh! It's Mr. Sholmes, look! Wow, you never know where he's gonna turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sings to himself. Ra la la lira lira lira, I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew when the yard bit off more than it could chew. No idea. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and stood tall. It's a Frank Sinatra song. I did it all, or I did it my way. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes. Oh, what is it? You want to fight? Huh? I totally forgot what voice I gave him. Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, and I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never gonna stop, so I figured now is a good time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. There we go. I want to fight your kick his butt. Alright, I get the picture. Now, could you put those fists away? Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in a study of the ship's log, as penned by the stockily built crewmen who are usually on guard here. Oh, yes, the ship's log. And did you find anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank. Which means that there was nothing to report, nothing of note happened, so... You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Sorry? Your logic, my boy. It's inverted. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages, and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman oft stand sentry in the first-class passageway. He has inverted logic. That's what he said. Apparently so. And he has almost a religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes it in every 30 minutes? Nothing to report? Military does the same thing. That way you know that someone's actually doing their job. At least in a way. Precisely. Put simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there's just that. Yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean? Yes. There were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in the log. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. A record kept by the crew assigned to the first-class cabin area. There are virtually no entries from 2 a.m. until early this morning. How you doing, hey Lady K? A log missing. Rat crosses his mouth, not to report. Now that deduction was worthy of a great detective. You're starting to understand what my way is, I see. What makes Sherlock Holmes brilliance? He's laughing. Oh. Ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Everyone has a headache. They probably got gassed. Being too stupid. Night in their kitchens, and the wine is delicious. Otherwise, nothing to report. Red Robins. Sounds delicious. I'm hungry again. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. There he goes. Alright, right, Summer, he's gone. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it in the wanders off down the passageway. As he wanders off. Red Robins. Is something wrong, Susetto-san? You seem lost in thought. It's just... well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. Sort of continuous throbbing. Everyone got hit in the head, it seems like. They didn't use gas. Someone just ran around, smacking everyone in the head. Oh, you too? Okay. Back to Miss Pavlova's cabin now? Will it continue since he's gone? There it is. What's that? Something's wrong. Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted a quarter-mile for. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. Going for your free birthday burger? Get it almost an hour. Dang. Well, that sucks. They are definitely not on their ball. Wreck came back with a huge bat and ran into everyone's. I'm sorry to hear that. So is it your birthday today? If so, happy birthday or happy belated birthday. I heard your birthday did happen. How was Disneyland? And that's funny. Wait, Summer. The rat hit everyone. Happy belated birthday. What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? Oh, they're going down. I can't stand. Citizen, hold on to me. This today. Nice. Son, are you alright? Are you injured at all? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Narahata-san. I hope you've had a good birthday. You and X-Rain should have tea at some point. Or coffee, whichever or. And then a fire explosion. Turns out we're on the Titanic. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think... Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Narada-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Look at her face. No boom boom. Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hasanaga. Is that you in there, Narahata-san? Unbolt the door, quickly! What? The bolt? Yeah, it latched itself. Tea. Tea is great. So I've gotten her into drinking coffee lately. We make our own iced coffee. Maybe someday. Look at that! The door's bolted. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I got some things going on. So I might not even be staying, living here forever. I wouldn't say forever, but you know, I don't know how long I'll be staying here if things go through. I like both. A little bit more of a coffee fan, though. But tea is good. Dude, that's Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. How did... Look at all the books. They're just like they were before, again. Huh? No. It's a bit of a story. I have to do it. I'll tell you about it the next time I do like Smash or something, so I have a bit more time to talk. I don't think I'm moving. I don't know. It's up in the air. Everything's up in the air. Norihara-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I'd better tidy this place up first. Wait, why don't you just open the door? All three of you could tidy it up. Our violent emergency stopped and solved one mystery at least, in a very vivid way. But I knew what was awaited us on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. I didn't even leave. Oh, that was it. Are we finally going to go to court? That's what I'm waiting for. I want to be in the courtroom. Well, at least save. Hope it's time to point. 9th January. SS Buria, Miss Pavlova's cabin. Okay, we're still in the cabin. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. Oh, everyone's there. You! Oh wait, he's got the light voice, doesn't he? You! What are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? You both look unhurt. Good. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? Is this... You want to be in the room where it happens? What? What happens? Where the whole court case happens? I'd say so. The courtroom. We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Pointing. Yes, it appears to have been a false report though. Oh, how did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. Hamilton reference? Yeah, that went over my head. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything in chaos! Passengers are screaming! Crew are running everywhere! I hate his voice, because it's my voice. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm. Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? Ah! You wicked intruder, dressed all in black. You are the devil. Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is the first. As he pressed the alarm. You opened my traveling case. How could you? What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector. Yes? Arrest this man. I know he did it. He is a criminal. It is not enough that he killed a man. Yeah, and he stole away as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Take him away. It's hard to change my voice like this. It's a musical. Ah. He is trespassed as well as everything else. Killing away, trespassing, killing. He's right, you are devil. It doesn't look good, does it?
There's a cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. They may give you straight to police.
My voice is like leaving me. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hasanaga. Is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. I'm going to China. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Oh. Well, I think we found our solution. Just, chilling on the wall here like Spider-Man. What the? What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes! Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feel like on one's head. No idea. I love this character. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no. Well, why are you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. Ah, I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. You again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time.
What is to report? Speak!
An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, steamship Borea, has been solved. By me, naturally. What?
Really?
No, my poor voice. Yes, I have eliminated all the possibilities. No other explanation exists. So allow me to illuminate all your minds. I'm about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. His voice is actually the hardest on my throat. Or trying to do it. Keep it up.
Ah, you've solved it! Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing the student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe.
Yeah, my voice is killed.
It is the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it.
I didn't do it. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Ah, locked room! That is point!
The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all.
What?
Ah yes, there's another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabins despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Holmes is a good guy now? Why, it gapes open mouthed at you even as we speak. How about that? Yep. The ventilator, man.
The ventilator? You think this is funny? I can even put my arm through that hole.
That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. Was in the smart for once? He's thinking. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? that possible? Ah, but it is. At last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Oh, she's quiet. You know something. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuya-sama wrote in his diary? 123, I can hear a faint whistling sound. 135, what looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Dr. Mr. Professor, sus among us imposter serves the culprit. I knew it! Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is the speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. It's gonna be the pet. Gonna fight it. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There's a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I'm about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold. Yeah! What the? Combat ready? He is. Oh! Okay. But still, I don't think a snake is going to cause vertebral damage unless I guess it wrapped around your head like that and crushed it. Allow me to introduce to you all to the band. The Speckled Band. A snake? Indubitably. Gotta put snake. The snake kills. I think that's what they're gonna go for. No one has anything to say. To cause that type of damage to his vertebrae without leaving a mark, maybe it was the crushing of the snake. Sholmes, just one thing. Yeah, imagine so, that might be it. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? This guy's about to die. He's got that wrapped around his head. Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it... Stripy band. The striped band, wouldn't you? You both see and observe, with distinction. However... You can't kill him because he's so strong. Yeah, guess so. Do you not think this is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? How exactly? I think perhaps it's time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts. Number one, last night your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. And number two, that same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. He's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Thomas must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi? It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. That would be number 3. It would be I would advise a little movement as possible, Stephen. We don't want fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Best words of wisdom from Stroganov this game. Whatever he said just answered the whole reason of life. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. And is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death? So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that pretentious night? Why, naturally it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as expected, another telltale glance. Without doubt your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. Let's try to bite him. It's on a 3 hiss loop. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. The snake kills Sholmes. Ah, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's slowed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrid crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. Oh? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side of as a bridge, the serpent silently descended to the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to be the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. He's being a babbling old man. Please stop him. I can't. How you doing, Gallic? What? We're playing Ace Attorney. Hardy Bass and Breath of the Wild. If I'm right, you can find Hardy Bass at the Rito place near the very bottom. Or yeah, I believe Hardy Bass are at the Rito's place. They're in like one of the platforms leading up to it. So, you know, you have a horse shrine. You can actually take bridges to climb up to like the Rito area. In one of those little places that connect to a bridge, there should be a pool of water that have Hardy Bass. I'm pretty sure that's what you're looking for. Oh, Holmes is telling everyone his thought process. So we think it's the snake that killed him. Those are Hardy Salmon. Hardy Bass should just be in the water then, if it's just Hardy Bass. Yeah, Hardy Salmon, that's where you get those. But Hardy Bass you should be able to find everywhere. Yeah, you should be able to find them. If you can at least get a picture of one, you can literally look to see where one is on your little indicator thing. Alright. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it slows its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. In bad RNG. Did Mr. Sogi die? Moving on. We come to the heart of the matter. Grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Now, if we take that as a fact, What's up? We can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Yeah, you can kill Octoroks and get fish. Oh no, could that be? Yes, an examination of the deceased body will prove the cause of death conclusively. The almost but not quite imperceptible, jeez, puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snakebite delivered by your terrifying friend.
This makes no sense.
There is no point feigning ignorance, Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. Died of death.
You don't...
It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend.
To train...
Indeed. You'd put the serpent through the ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You wouldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. Do you deny this snake has undergone such training?
It's not true.
Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. Hold up a sec. Oops, there it is. Report from the Bureau medical officer. Given the cause of death as cervical spine injury, there was no trace of external injury or poison, so I think Sherlock Sholmes is already incorrect. At least for the poison part. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Death caused by venomous snake's bite. That doesn't work. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. All in shock. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor, you'll observe a saucer of milk. Promise of food is the key to training any creature. Wait, snakes don't drink milk? Incredible. You've solved the mystery. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Sherlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Uh-oh, I think she picked it up already.
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
But of course, what's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me.
I welcome questions as to my method. It will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all, snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family.
You are well informed, madam.
And reptiles, don't drink milk.
Ah.
It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So I'm not sure it'd be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Worthwhile being tough on ya?
Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there's something else. Snakes have no ears.
Everything drinks milk, even lactose intolerant people, aka you. Ah. You want to upgrade the Zora tunic for cool? Look around the waters. I think there's some hardy bass on the cliff where you first woke up, near the water, near the edge of it. I forget what it's called. The plateau, the Great Plateau. I think you can find some hardy bass there. I think it's the first place you can get them.
Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal the snake by whistling.
But madame, what are the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute?
I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears? These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless.
Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, poor snake.
There is one other thing.
You have more?
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
Then it should try harder.
Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. Point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this.
It's so sad. Try harder, Snaky Snake. Poor Snake. He's doing his best. Oh, yeah. Descale, the new rabbit we got. We finally found out its gender today. It's a boy. The boy bunny. Which means Copper is still my only female rabbit.
I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhado. Oh no, you don't mean... Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into great ones they ought to be.
Boy bunny, yep. The name Descale. Had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try.
Just what I was waiting for. Mr. Naruhado.
Yes, right.
So cast your eyes down to your wrists again.
What? Oh, he did it.
You've done it again. Your handcuffs are gone. Where did they go?
Fear not, I shall see them restored after our work is done.
I really wish you'd just leave them off.
Now, everyone, let us begin. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
I hope this doesn't take place instead of a court case. Like this is a whole segment by itself, a whole chapter.
Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death, nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself.
Mr. Disappearing Handcuffs, the true mystery. It'll never be solved. Even Sholmes doesn't know.
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart
says something. She does have a pained expression on her face.
Yes, that's true. It looks as though Kazuya-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Would there be some other way to interpret her expression then?
Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova.
Heart. Oh. Got a cloth. Aching heart smarts with pain. What's causing her pain? Scratch mark, I guess.
Oh, Narada-san, look! That looks like a very painful wound.
It looks like a scratch made by some kind of animal. Fairly recently, too.
Well, whatever scratched her doesn't appear to be around here.
Snake's still moving on his head. Doesn't have it sticking out of her pocket right now. And she's grabbing at her wrist, though.
Yes!
Oops. Oh, scratch. Okay, well, I got it. Cats does drink milk. Could be a cat, yeah. And they got scratched by the snake. Dang snake in his claws.
Yes, when you recall those horde events, that claw scratch smarts with pain.
Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh.
Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse.
And it is that very pain evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. Gallic drinks milk too. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole his victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend in which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us.
I do like milk. Seems like the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? Why does she have a snake in there then? We should follow her gaze, Narada-san. That's where we'll find the answer.
Oh, there's a picture. Her and a cat.
Look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. She is exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. But personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova is cuddling here. Oh, what a cute little kitten. I could vie with you, couldn't it? It could vie with you, couldn't it, Narada-san, for the blackest outfit? A black kitten. And from the look of this picture, at least Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it. That must be a stage costume she's wearing. It's quite stunning. I should like to have something like that. And she's wearing the 20,000 rubles on her head as well, look. It's called a tiara, Narada-san, and you shouldn't think of it purely in terms of its value. She must be a strong-willed woman. Turn her back on the world stage and run away all on her own?
Yes!
Little kitten.
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us.
Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes that abundantly clear.
Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Ah! Got caught.
Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observation of the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably,
This specimen's marking do not fit that description in any way. What explanation can we then give, pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night?
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have to answer this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying, but failing to conceal, can only be the snake's slowed skin.
No, it looks like a cat toy. See that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back. If she just left it in her pocket, no one would have ever have known. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Elm's specialty. He's ever so clever, forced her to reveal something. I thought deduction was a special. Maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I found out how to believe that that's the skin of a snake. In which case, what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Oh, it's like a whip. No, it's a cat toy. It's just a cat toy. Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy, a long piece of cloth of some sort. It's a snake. It's cat skin. He killed the cat and dyed the fur, and that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. How's that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable.
Yes!
Cat's toy. Yes, the thing you're trying but failing to conceal is, a cat's toy.
Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it.
But why? For what reason?
My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that.
The cat had gone in there?
After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return.
Where's the cat now? Underneath the bed?
In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue-bred of cat by the name of Darka.
Yeah. Use my voice too much.
Truly troublesome feline. Young Darka is proven to be. She must be caged once found. You'll forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova.
Miss Pavlova and her friend, a kitten named Darka. The tiara she would wear on the stage can also be seen. It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand, and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she is so naughty. Beloved kitten. Oh. Death by kitten? So the kitten killed him.
Moving on, we've come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why?
Cat strangled him.
According to the data of which have been appraised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. In fact, the circumstance of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom.
Not the kitten, it's the kitten. I understand very little about what is happening. The kitten. Kitten's doing it. What Mr. Sholm says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on the Kazuya-sam's body. That's right. But Mr. Sholm seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuya wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him some information he's missing now.
The postmortem report. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained with a postmortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other. Cat poisoned Kazuya? That kitten, we need to catch it and arrest it. His neck was... So this is just a random snake hanging on this guy's face. Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Even Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. The jury is out. Anyway, we have one on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as a fact... He is immortal. We can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be... Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Kazuya died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon's been found, though. Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuya, deal him a fatal blow. That's what happened! The jury is out. He might be immortal. I knew it, the cat did it! I suppose the cat with the bat. We all thought it was a rat with a bat, but now it's a cat with a bat. It's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. Could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe Kazuya-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Head is out of the bag, out of the suitcase. Oh no. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Mark on the floor. Yes! Trip. Yes, an examination of the mark of the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed, positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Cat face. That's the cat that did it! And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's lace leather shoes. They don't make wax, they make honey. They make wax on the side for their candles. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in an instant, he lost his life. No! Candies? I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are... Oh, that's Jones talking. Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. Oh? Might be looking somewhere else. I don't believe it. Kazuya-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I won't accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest what happened. But... And if this part of Miss Sholm's deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Oh.
Tiara? Oh. Somebody appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here. It hasn't been dropped, Naruto-san, it's been placed. I'm starting to sound like Mr. Sholmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective. Hid the bologna sandwich? Seems to be that's all that's like really hidden here. So it has to be the tiara.
Yes!
Did not work? You tried to hide that evidence in plain sight, didn't you? In this tiara. Oh, don't give me that wide-eyed, incredulous stare. I know the truth. That 20,000 rubles is enough to make anyone lose their head. Want that tiara? It looks pretty nice. That deduction was wanting in every way. Oh, I get a mark lost. Yes, I was wanting you to hear it. I'm quite proud of it. I find myself wanting never have heard of it. I'm quite pained by it, in fact. Oh, sorry, I'll try again. Huh. Now, I didn't check the waste... Well, we did check in the wastebasket earlier. Kazuya stumbled carelessly and then fall to his death. I just chose what was obviously there because I didn't think it would actually be any type of difficulty to this. So I'll give it another look. But we did look at the wastebasket. Oh, but it looks like there might be something in it. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started to occupy this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Ah, but there is something. The other half of the bell. Have to check the bologna sandwich. Oh wow, that's... a broken piece of glass, isn't it? So yeah, it's this. Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. That's tricky, because I checked the wastebasket, but all they said was there wasn't much rubbish in it. But it's actually in the wastebasket.
Yes!
I hope this isn't the entire chapter, though. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asogi's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no! This might be the whole chapter. I don't see how this can go to court. Kinda looking like it. Yeah, I was a bit worried about that. I was kinda hoping it would actually go to court. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that the part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the wastepaper basket in your cabin? Yeah. She got caught. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't... I don't know. And that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruto. Yes. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be... the picture.
Yes!
Developers for boring games, so you have to have a court scene. I wish we would go to court. I prefer the court. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth is caught up with you, Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Your dead cat. No, your absent feline friend Darka. Yeah, I'd rather be back in the court.
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
She's going to jail. Because her pet cat killed someone. That's gotta suck. Elementary. Nah, I'm sure they'll just take the cat out back and shoot it. Throw the cat overboard.
Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning.
Shoot the cat? Just toss it overboard.
It was so late, I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments.
Poor kitty. The cat will go to trial. That would be hilarious. The cat went to trial.
She was so fast she disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it.
Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed to allow Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point,
you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin? The defendant will have to say the accusations. Meow. Guilty. Oh, the cat will find something to say to get itself out of it.
Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return.
Or this is a whistle. So the faint whistling and sound Kazuya wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then...
Meow and a thud. Surprised Naruhata didn't hear the meow.
I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
Kazuya was... The cat did it!
From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS beer is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. Mr. Sog was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet. The combination of the unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. What became of the kitten afterwards?
Hold up a sec. Don't we have a scene of the crime? I guess you're not going to show us. They only showed us in the, like, back of it.
In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator.
Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again.
The snake ate her! The snake already got the kitten! Gracious, that cat is insufferable restless as I am.
Well, he knows something about himself at least. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened.
Criminal is already dead. There's this random snake in her room.
I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake?
You're right, where is it?
If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from? Oh, it's his snake. That's why he's petting it. What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship?
Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Porosco.
What? What? That snake belongs to you?
He escaped from cage when an emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him.
I can't keep doing the really, really high-pitched one. You silly man.
I did not expect to find him here.
Yes. How did the snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board.
We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be long without close friend, without someone who understands?
Didn't you find someone a little more human who would understand you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in.
No venom.
Roscoe does not have venom.
He is harmless, very long, very gentle. He is adorable like Granny.
It's venomless?
Yes. Now he is hungry, so he's in bad mood. Once I feed him, you'll see big smile.
And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose?
Snake Granny. Like they say milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snake that drink milk only in stupid stories. Bisco will eat mouses. Big fat round mouses.
Oh, so is that what the mousetrap in the pastry out there was for?
Of course! How else can I catch my friend's favorite food?
Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. They look somewhat similar. Or Mr. Sholmes. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous.
How the deuce does something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault, I did not make up stories. My appearance as a Porosco has nothing to do with this incident.
So, that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Something's still off. Miss Pavlova, I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize, but please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mokotoba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything.
Is everyone going to jail? That would be the ending of it, huh?
It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth.
I don't think it's an accident.
Would you agree, Mr. Naruhito? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. I confess. I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh? I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhito, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Not again. When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could solve matters before we made our next port call.
You were Mr. Sholmes?
Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not?
Yes. Kazuya was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even.
In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion.
So they return. I hope so.
No further distraction. We must uncover the real truth here, Mr. North.
Yes. Whatever that may be. Key to this is in the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear.
Kazuya,
the truth about how you really died. And how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do.
excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Naruhito.
So then, shall we begin?
Yes.
What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in the cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance.
But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Hold it!
Wait. Let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm gonna have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. She said she was going through a transit for 2 days. Or said she's still here for work for 60 days? What? Does it? Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuya's cabin. It's undeniable. This death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really?
Let us show our hand, Miss Naruhito. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident.
Yes!
Going for that. The truth is clearly recorded in the photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Sogi could have left his message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it?
Indeed it is. Word written means wardrobe.
I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. That doesn't seem likely. That actually is not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor. Ah, because it said he died instantly? Maybe. And the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebrae resulting in instant death. Oh, it is instant death. I don't remember reading that. I guess I need to actually look at it. Oh, it's right there at the top. Yeah, so it says it in there. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything. Because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Sogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there, if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So, Susato-san has noticed it too then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proved this was no accident. In other words...
I don't remember, but let's see what we got. I'm pretty sure it might be that sticker.
Yes!
What point are you trying to make with that evidence? You're starting to see how Kazuya's death... I'm starting to see how Kazuya's death really happened, I think. Oh, I have 5 again. I think that you're starting to see nothing of the sort. That chose too quickly. If it was no accident, then what should be looking for is one of the two things. Either the absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of the accident, or the presence of something you wouldn't, which means the bell, most likely. Most compendously put, my dear madam. Ah, I see. We have chances. I confess you're rather languid, I see. Doesn't fill with confidence, Mr. But Mr. I believe in you. Well, more than Mr. Sholmes does anyway. You got this. Yes, it's starting to take shape. Okay, it's repeating here. Something else gives way. Another piece of evidence proves no accident. Imagine it was the bell, but see what else I got. Article doesn't have anything to do with it.
Yes!
This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. I was wondering about that. How'd you get the other piece if it was supposed to be locked? But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. All about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. We already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there's a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. But these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. Exactly. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Yeah! Like she got smacked. Yes, there was someone else present, Mr. Asogi's.
Hold it!
You are wasting time. That's too low. Someone else was there? Duh, of course we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. And only other person in cabin with young student died was you.
Yes!
Yes. Sorry, Stroganoff, you gotta be quiet. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe. Be precise about the details. But we had the sticker covering it, so it couldn't have been me. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message. Be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. And then the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asogi really died. That was her talking. But why would this person have taken all the pieces of the bell anyway? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lump suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then, the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item.
Oh, he's getting framed. But everything's pointing back to her. You all suspect me, don't you? Demon Stroganoff? Oh, his face has marks on it.
Nina, a woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on the ship, a member of ship's band. We do not accuse ship's angel of being criminal. So that's it.
Poor Beef.
You say that woman, a young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. That is not possible. I give my tooth.
Give us all your teeth.
Well, this is most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How could you be so sure? You are a great detective, you should know. Look, truth is nice, cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go in cabin, not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Nyah, it's impossible.
Ugh, he's right.
But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around the door latches so they can open and close them from outside. Red, are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors? Certainly not. These are watertight doors, and one would expect to find any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel, with not a gap in sight, no threads or needles, or magnets could have been used.
No, of course not. Thought so too. But Mr. Hara suggested it earlier, so...
Besides then, how can you shift it onto me like that?
So, Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside.
Not necessarily.
What?
I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before.
I don't believe it.
Well, Mr. Naruto, I believe you know what I mean, don't you?
A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside? One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruto?
Yes, and so should you.
Because we've seen it happen.
Indeed we have, so would you care to do the honors, Naruto? Point at the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door across from the outside.
Oh, nothing's popping up, so I wonder if I just have to click something. Okay, yeah, so I just click something. I imagine it is.
Yes!
I know, I was just experimenting. Normally the icon turns bright blue when it's on something, so I wasn't sure if I was going to do that or not. Look at the bookcase there. See all the books and things on it have toppled over? That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe, yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia, acting on the objects. Is there nothing Susato-san doesn't know? Or that isn't in her book at least? Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on the bookcase also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. It was very obvious just after the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before, and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Her face looks so funny there. Hello? Is anyone there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Hasanaga? Oh yes! That's it! When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the force of inertia, if you want to call it that. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Sogi was killed,
Ah.
The SS Bureau made another emergency stop. When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hand across the shelves and literally knocked everything over. Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing in here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like Mr. Sogi's cabin. Oh my. Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Burya made emergency stop? It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room.
Oh, it is simple enough.
I'm losing my voice here.
Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm.
Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there? Telling you only to press the button in times of emergency.
On dark nights when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons around the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity.
Wait, it was you?
When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today.
Everything he did, it was goofy, but it ends up creating more, like, proof of things happening. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who...
As I always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion.
Sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with shit? I report you to Captain. You are in much trouble now.
Now, I'm sure all you can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learnt a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin doors slide closed. So, we must now consider...
Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what happened to Mr. Asogi, did the ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You're idiots. This is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make an emergency stop even middle of the night, there would be chaos everywhere.
What are your thoughts, Mr.?
Well, we all woke up with headaches, so... Well, it's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Miss Naruhito? Probably the ship's log.
Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that some emergency gripped the vessel last night?
I ain't gonna check, just gonna click it. Seaman Stroganov, it's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right?
Ah, that is correct. Why?
And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties.
What are you doing with that? That is mine. You rather carelessly left it atop the little makeshift bureau in the passageway. But as a responsible passenger, we took it into our care with a mind to return it to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always.
The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until the first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. Nothing recorded in the log.
That is... because nothing happened.
But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you?
Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m., something happened, here aboard the SS Bureau. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact.
Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Not talking rubbish! If I'm perfectly honest, I find that a little hard to believe myself.
Oh, why?
Well, because if something as major as emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently, and the alarm bell was so loud. Can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night.
Well, no, that's a good point. But they all had headaches, so they're probably all knocked out. What of the throbbing?
Sorry, what do you mean?
Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We have all suffered with it.
Oh, yes, I had a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn.
Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected.
He's right, my head's been throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. Ah, they did it to the food, I bet. But because Kazuya gave his food to Ryunosuke got knocked out and Kazuya didn't. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I'd already been dragged out of the wardrobe. Had those handcuffs put on me by that point. Why didn't I wake up when all of that was happening to me?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you?
Oh, well, yes. Sorry.
This stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on?
Well, Kazuya looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals.
So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it?
Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Kazuya wasn't fond of chicken.
Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all?
That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant?
My dear fellow, does that not strike you?
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken?
I do.
No. Is that really true?
The meal prepared for the passengers tonight had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addiction of soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consume. Ah.
A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with the sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruhodo, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea.
Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be impossible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator.
What? Mr. Sholmes?
Well, Seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have been an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew, and the captain himself, would be hauled over to the coals. For aiding and abetting a renegade.
He's looking everywhere now. Oh. They knocked everyone out so they could put her on the ship because she was running away. And they knew about it. So they knocked everyone out just to help her out. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Not to make problems like this for everyone anymore.
These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe.
Yes. So when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. Since she threw everything, her fame in the ballet, Mother Russia, we wanted to help our angel. Don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I didn't notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. We cannot make all drug, how do you say, dissolve.
Talk about heavy seasoning. Just eating drugs. Ugh.
At midnight in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. She was helped by comrade on shore with a small fishing boat.
While all passengers of the SS Bureau slept soundly. Thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained.
So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who just like chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. Could have used the emergency stop to lock Kazuma's cabin door.
Hey, that still doesn't make sense then, because if they stopped to pick her up, then that means she wouldn't have even been on board when he was dead.
But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have been ended up locked in that case, and there would have been complete chaos.
Oh, I wouldn't say so.
What? No, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug.
Quite. And accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night.
Yes.
The overwhelming majority of passengers would habitually sleep with their cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find their door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning.
So they did it twice? You have talked a long time and said many things. What is point?
The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. And someone who abused the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night.
But... I don't know about any of this. I'm a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas.
But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen too long. Boring stories, we don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait.
What?
I'm quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhado?
Oh, yes?
Do you hear it? The accusatory cry of a guilt on the wind.
What? Accusatory cry of guilt. Sorry, you've lost me.
Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears. Oh? You must hear it with your eyes. For observation is the basis of all deduction.
What are you talking about?
I believe the time has come. For one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth.
Ah, so it's probably going to be him that did it, I'd say.
So, Mr. Naruhado, your senses, if you please.
With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes?
With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said. Of these two
prevaricators. Ugh, so hard to say. Observation? If you remember, Mr. Naruhado, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we?
I tampered with the scene of Mr. Asogi's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I could see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuya died. What suggests that someone else was there on the scene? Ah. Oh, look at this. It's some kind of stain in an unusual place. Yes, you're right. Looks like ink if I'm not mistaken. Ink. An inkling did it. And look at the color too. It's clear where this came from.
Yes!
Ink stain. Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain in the back of your white uniform there. Yes, I don't know where the dirt come from. They're just there discussing his backside. Yeah, looking at it like, I see something there, and he's just sitting there like, looking around the room. Nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of this stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It's a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform. And I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhito, present the evidence that proves it. My pleasure. Alright then, the evidence that proves that the stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is... And it could be the ink. Probably gonna be what he's touching.
Yes!
Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. The penny drops. At last. Now you see the significance. Does he not have other uniforms? The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of exactly the same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means... it must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilt. Alright, yes, it was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in Dead Student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Buria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect our angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty patrolling passageway. Then our angel came to me. He was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to the cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on floor. What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one, my little furry friend. Everything that happened in cabin like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Asogi's cabin. Then he tripped over it and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers? Only to find its occupant lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard sound of something falling on floor. Then when she went to look... No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look and... You already know what happened after her. There's just one thing. You wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Asogi's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why... I already told you.
We need an open door of student's cabin and looked inside. I was asking Miss Pavlova. Well, Miss Pavlova? Yeah. This is what I imagine she said something similar. Oh. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. Oh, is that finally it now? We discovered the real truth about Kazuya's death at last? Apparently not. Ah, something really nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck. Therefore, the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a hit on which the victim stumbled. However, those are the facts. There is one particular area in this photograph that seems to be somewhat unnatural. The fact that he's laying on his belly, maybe? What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruto? Oh, well... If Kazuya tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck hit his neck, which part of this photograph perhaps seems unnatural? Imagine this part. He must be here, surely. Allow me to offer you a piece of advice regarding the pursuit of detection, my fellow. When noting a crucial point, it can be helpful to keep your eyes open. They were open. So I got it wrong, but... And it can be equally helpful to use them. Alright, I'll try that. So, what could it be then? I think it's plain what Mr. Sholmes means by unnatural, isn't it? The words written in foreign language underneath... Oh, his fingertip... They're upside down. Aren't they? That particular crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit, immediately identifying another point. Imagine, if you were losing your footing yourself. Did you land as the victim has? What of your hands? You look like the sort of fellow who stumbles with some regularity. This should be an easy task. Why do I... If Kazuya tripped and fell by some terrible stroke of luck and broke his neck, which part of this photograph seems unnatural? I mean, I guess it's his hands.
Yes!
Did I get it wrong again? I did. Does it have to be his closed hand, or is it something else? I wish it wasn't such a close-up print. I got 2 guesses. What are the photograph prints? Natural. I'm gonna try hitting the hand right here. Ah, it's the word in Russian. This word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuya. So if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. Very true, it is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I meant by unnatural, I'm afraid. That particular crass detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point. Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appeared to have done here, it would be most unnatural.
I'm sure you'll reach the same conclusion.
How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance.
Huh? Man, this is tough. It wasn't the word. Part of me wants to say it's the scarf, but that doesn't make sense. They're okay with him landing forward. Okay, close fist time.
Yes!
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. Alright, so what was my third option? I was guessing. In a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms flat. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something.
What do you mean?
Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago.
You did?
And what, pray tell, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? The cat!
Mr. Sholmes, show us, please.
Why, of course, my dear madam. Would I keep you in suspense?
Oh.
Wait, is that one of her earrings? Not her earring there. Her earring at all.
Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle.
Yes, you're right, a crescent moon. Very pretty, but what does it tell us?
It tells us nothing.
I'm not so sure. That crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. That is the key.
What?
The truth is now tantalizingly close.
How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuya's clenched fist?
This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does the little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe. Find the answer with your own eyes.
Oh, she's missing an earring there.
But she has one. It is one of her earrings.
Yes!
Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. You have a crescent moon as well. No. What? And on your other ear, there seems to be a crescent moon missing. Little Link holding it must have broken, I suppose.
Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhado?
Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Sogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, Mr. Sogi's cabin, you witnessed the moments when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him.
Doesn't mean she killed him. Could still have been a fall. But something's weird.
But then the question is, why did Mr. Sogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel. No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuya?
I'm actually getting that joke from Cyanide and Happiness, where the detective's like, looks like my deductions say all of you did it. Now you shall all go to jail. And then they ended up just killing the detective. Did we finally figure out the truth? Is that finally it? Is Kazuya really gone?
When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away,
I think it's her talking.
the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then When I was at last in this cabin, and I could relax after this horrible, long day... Erica, wait! Couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with a little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy, but nothing worked. Darka would not come back.
Peace, Kazuya. No, I still don't think he's gone. Hopefully. It's looking like it. Still, we don't know exactly what happened.
What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector?
Inspector. Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought it was a friend of mine. Young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. But then, when I had my friend in my arms again, and I was going to leave the man's cabin... Just a moment. Sorry, but... Oh, yes? Do I know your face? I've seen you somewhere before. Of course, you're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina? Huh? No, I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land far away east know a Russian ballerina?
Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression on me.
But what are you doing on this ship?
I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment.
I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice.
I see. So you've run away.
Please keep my secret. Don't tell anyone.
Imagine he wouldn't. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here.
Oh, she thought he was going to pull the cord? He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him?
And that's when it happened. She took the kitten and just the back of the neck.
Then it happened, everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait, I shouted, and then... Darka jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... as he turned around to look at me...
Oh. Hit the side of the bedpost?
I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And... I had to stop him from telling anyone about me.
And that's when you went to fetch help? From Seaman Stroganov, who was on duty out in the passageway?
I heard Nina cry out and thud on floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Beef. If they find out, I will be, please, have nowhere to go."
She did it.
She killed him. So you decided to help, and that's when you arranged things in Kazuya's cabin and make it look like I did it. So that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door? Yes. I went to the cabin to look around, to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there. Then I found Stowaway, in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway?
Wait, then why didn't they take the thing off the... Yeah. Why would he put the strange paper back? I guess because he... I don't know.
I closed wardrobe doors and put strange paper sign.
Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent.
I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to write on floor.
I wrote wardrobe so that the person who found him would look inside the wardrobe to find stowaway.
And tell me, what did the glass spell?
It was by my feet, so I picked it up.
So you kill the friend and then try to blame the friend. You messed up, off for a runaway, yep. I see.
But it was dark in the cabin. Didn't notice the other half.
Then Angel went back to her cabin and I finished job. By pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway.
Yes.
Accordingly, the SS Bureau did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 a.m. Thus enticing the bolt in the cabin door to slide shut, ending the locked room mystery.
There's still one thing I don't understand. Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuya about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland. And it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes. But even if you had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship, aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first that made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Ah, Inspector. No? I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. That an inspector was his friend. Yes, meaning me. Who was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. Before he could pull bell cord, May I stop you a moment, please, Miss Pavlova? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Sogi really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. What? What do you think, Mr. Naruhito? Well, I'm not Kazuya, so I can't know for certain, but he was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to do it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back.
Well, Mr. Naruhito, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make.
What, another deduction?
Who's going to tell Naruhito? Yes, what action was the victim really about to take at that moment? Can we determine whether the young man's gaze was directed? Was at the club. First, consider the victim's location within his cabin.
That's easy. I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuya-sama. Yes, that's exactly how it was.
Are you ready then, Mr. Naruhito?
Yes! If there's one thing I've learned today, that a simple gaze can reveal all manner of truths. Not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when you turn away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuya looking at?
Wardrobe?
The wardrobe. My wardrobe. I was in it at the time, of course, sleeping soundly. Too soundly. If only I hadn't eaten that chicken that was laced with sleeping drug. If only he'd woken me up. Then maybe this tragedy would never have happened.
Take that!
Wardrobe.
Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuya was going to ring the bell cord.
Yes, however,
what is directly beside the bell cord?
the wardrobe.
The wardrobe?
And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? man's great friend. Sleeping soundly.
Miss Pavlova, please think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night?
Give me a moment. Use another opinion here. Why would he need my opinion, though? Or rather, Naruhado's opinion.
Another opinion?
Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt.
Oh, no. Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently. If you had. Miss Pavlova,
I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. Damn, laid on thick.
I'm sorry. Really. I'm so sorry. What have I done?
Going to prison. And so at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Bureau finally laid to rest. So that's the end of the chapter? Did we finally get away, or get to Hong Kong?
What happened to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we've reached Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia? Won't the Russians try to repatriate her?
Not yet. I'm pretty sure we'll end up in court again, but not for this chapter.
Apparently the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out.
The Sholmes can do that?
So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life.
I see.
I'm sorry. Demon Stroganoff? I wanted to help our angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, about how you lost a good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police.
That's kind of you.
In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuya's death feels like such a waste, but... Well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you?
Da. They're saying da.
Oh, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm gonna have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes. I did stow away after all. Couldn't really expect any different. So, you should get back to your cabin now. Looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it even begun, then. To think that only days ago, Kazuya and I were laughing together about how we'd tear up the streets of London. Seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh, she's got the sword. Sato-san?
Uh-oh, she looked at me like she's gonna kill me.
Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Asanaga just told me I should pack, you know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that.
Nope, misty-eyed.
I can't believe this has happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over, just like that. Sato-san.
Don't hold on to a sword.
I had such grand ideas for this visit to Great Britain. So many dreams.
And now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. That I could never forgive the person responsible.
There is no point? What?
But now we know the truth, that it was just an accident. It's a silly series of mishaps. Too much, Naruto-san. Just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say.
Oh, he said that. I thought it was going to be the lady.
Inspector? My duty to Osogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. And I'm friggin' not... Huh?
Surprised, Mr. Naruto?
What is the meaning of this?
Oh, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head, I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting.
Sorry?
So, I decided to restore them for old time's sake. Shall we say you are a stowaway after all?
He thinks this is funny?
Imagine we're close to the end, so I'm just gonna try to finish it.
Mr. Sholmes.
I love Sherlock Sholmes. He's awesome.
We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you. From the bottom of my heart.
Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincerest condolences? The loss of your companion is truly heartening. I hope that you'll be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that's happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of the study were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be? In the light of Mr. Soga's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. No, I don't care for me, but... Where's Sato-san?
My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know. Oh, there he goes. All you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely.
But there's no one else with necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. You have no other lawyer.
Qualifications, you see. Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid.
Oh, but
anyway, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer.
Yes. Mr. Sato? Yes? I think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruto. Oh, unless...
Are you studying law?
No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work.
But as I said, there is still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto?
Yes, I have a month in which to study. Tomorrow I must become a lawyer in Great Britain. Mr. Naruto? That's ridiculous. Are you seriously suggesting anybody could learn all that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I will work my fingers to the bone, Inspector. Every single day. You let me try? And if by the time we reach Great Britain I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. But why put yourself in such a difficult position? Kazuya said that there was something he had to do in Great Britain. That he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. Can't let all that passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit, too. I'll become a lawyer. Have to. What do you say, Miss Sasato?
She smiled, for once.
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Thank you. So, what does our respectable inspector friend say?
Are you serious?
One lawyer and one assistant. Numbers are indisputable.
No, it's madness.
Yet fascinating, wouldn't you agree?
Fascinating?
Duty and rules are all the dual routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination.
Speak for yourself.
Besides, qualification is no measure of a man. What matters is his character. Oh. Now, Crash Course Law School Edition, there we go. But the thing is, it gets to learn Britain law. And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of his close companion and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, above all, courage.
Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? Did I do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here? Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters, I think. We need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report.
Gonna wish him luck, he's gonna end up with another black eye.
You really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruhito? Yes, I'm gonna try. I wonder, you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer? I'd be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruhito? I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuya-sama would have wanted. Its name is Inkaruma. It's a great sword. Oh, it's a great sword that's been in the Usagi clan for generations.
Is that Sato? Wait, kick whose?
Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always.
I was expecting her to flip me again, to be honest.
So then, Mr. Sato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruhito.
Yeah, I do know we do court cases again, because I remember seeing it in the trailer, where she's your assistant in the court case, in the courtroom.
And for the next 40 days, I shall grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times.
What?
I never have doubted you. You were Kazuya-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me. No matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock.
She's like, cheat me. Cheat me what I did to you. Oh, I missed it.
No, I won't let you make an excuse for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you. And not just once, but 5 times.
Oh, she only asked for it 3 times, though. It skipped that part automatically.
That never keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it.
No, I don't even know how. I've never thrown anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruto. It isn't a skill one acquires without considerable training.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes.
I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed.
When did he see that?
I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling?
Oh, well, in a way. It's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently it's called Susato Takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me.
How beguiling. I'm a practitioner of the combative arts myself. I am somewhat accomplished boxer.
There he goes, dancing around again.
Oh, did he just punch her towards her face? Don't give her a smack. Yeah, it's like going through her head. I wonder if you'd be as kind to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw.
Yes, I'd be honored.
Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. Here we go.
He's telling me Susato's about to throw Sholmes. I think she's about to throw Naruto again to show him. Oh, of course!
Yep. She's looking at him.
Are you ready, Mr. Naruto?
Sorry?
Yeah!
Knew it.
As you can see, you throw from the abdomen.
Ah, yes. Arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it?
Actually, no. That was Susato squash.
Nah, through Naruto.
In my groggy state of consciousness,
a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuya flickered into my mind.
Haruma?
That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan.
I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking katana on study tour is more than a little irregular.
For Naruto, yeah.
Surely.
Japanese man's sword is his soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana.
Haruma guides me.
Really believe that.
Haruma?
Oh, the sword. It's very close to the religion that Maya worships, the regular story.
So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two? Not that you would need much compelling.
On that subject,
there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
That important thing he had to do. I don't know what that was. But I'm gonna see the place for myself and work it out. In Great Britain's capital, London.
Alright, let's end the chapter. Still, can't really accept that he's gone yet. Something's bothering me about it. Hey, Crash Course candidate. Well, I guess we'll see when we get later down the line. Oh, but I went extra long tonight, I guess to make up for all the days that I missed. Alright, that'll be the end of this one. I am tired. Now, like I said, once again, I'll try to do these a little bit more often. I went a little longer tonight just to finish this one, this part. We got episode 3 next. Think he's dead, unfortunately? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see till we get further. Something bothers me about him. That's just because he has the same characteristics as Edgeworth. But imagine he would be Edgeworth's ancestor. And I still don't think it's completely gone yet. But I don't know. I think there's something else there. But we'll figure it out. Yeah. Alright, good night, everybody.